I like the colors. I appreciate that. Let me fix my glasses. I guess we'll restart this.
Restart, go ahead. Okay.
With the motif that Jim is going to be using with this painting, it has great contrast with the whites and the cool grays he's probably going to end up using with the shadows. And also the greenery in the background that has lots and lots of depth in it. Because like he's going to probably end up using a multitude of shades of various different greens from light to dark and dark to light. I'm Jim Mushett. I am owner of Big Jim's Art, and I work part-time over at the Kingston Hannaford, and we are at the Kingston Hannaford.
All right, spoken like a true artist. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
Starting with a red priming layer forces you to paint opaquely, and I'll be using a red priming layer for this white truck. I like the dark trees behind it, the sky over here, the other parked cars beyond it. My sketchbook easel is mounted on a tripod, and I'm putting on this diffuser. It's a piece of white nylon which takes that harsh direct sun and diffuses it, makes it softer to work under. Now I'm drawing it in with a brush, and I notice that, of course, I'm sitting straight in front of it, so the front is symmetrical, but it's tilting to the left because the side of the road is tilting that way. And I notice that in front of the front wheels are railroad wheels. So this vehicle, this cement mixer, must be designed to go on the railroad tracks. When the wind picks up a little bit, it doesn't blow over my easel, but it does blow my diffuser out of whack, so I have to pull it back into position. It's getting warm out, and smooth is getting a little hot and dry. So I'll get him some water and find him a place in the shade. Using burnt sienna and viridian gouache, I paint some of the darks of the scene. The dark green under the windshield, the dark trees around the truck, and since this is only semi-opaque, it only partially covers that red. Let me take you back the day before when I did the priming. You can use either casein or acrylic gouache for a red-toned ground. I use white and a burnt sienna or Venetian red or any kind of iron-based red. What casein and acrylic gouache have in common is that they both provide a sealed surface when they dry, so they don't reactivate when you use a layer of wet gouache or watercolor over them. By using a big, flat, synthetic brush, I can scrub that right onto the surface. The color I'm going for is a tint of a reddish brown, kind of a dull pink. It's okay if the edges are uneven and if the whole thing looks a little bit rough. Now let's get back to the painting. The nice thing about this kind of reddish colored underpainting is that the greens automatically activate on it because the light reddish color is the opposite or the complement of green. It also forces me to use opaque white to get these white colors of the cement mixer. Hey, you found a nice place. Smooth, good boy. Now as I paint the sky, I can use more and more opaque white to cover that red priming color. You'll hardly see it in the areas that are covered by opaque greens or opaque whites, but it'll pop through here and there in little spaces. And the energy of that red popping through in between white areas or blue areas or green areas will act like hot sauce on a food dish. This is a Kenworth W900 mixer. It's owned by the Amtrak company, and they use it to deliver cement to make bridges and other places where they can't bring a regular mixer on wheels. They have to put it on the tracks and drive it around to get the cement where they need it. You see how that red color is popping through as I paint the green a little bit more opaquely. I'm using an old flat brush, painting in the greens of the foliage and getting a little more opaque both with the light areas and the dark areas. And this is a water-based paint, so I can use a fountain pen over it. I'm using a Pilot Custom 912 fountain pen with Yamaguri black ink. But this gives me a nice sharp line for the headlights and for the grille work. I can mix a pretty dark color using that Viridian green and burnt sienna, ultramarine blue maybe, and burnt sienna. And then that cast shadow on the fender. And I can come back in and paint the bright orange turn signals. So to wrap up, let me list some of the reasons I like to use a red underpainting, a red priming color. Number one, I use it when I want to force myself to use opaque paints. Sometimes I can use it for a middle tone for using black and white, like under these Holstein cows. I also use it when I have a subject that's mostly blues or greens, because it just provides a little contrasting spice to those blue and green colors. So, for example, underneath this forest scene is this red priming color. I also use it when I want to paint beyond the edges of things, rather than just treating it like a coloring book, because it makes me need to cover up the line work in between shapes. Okay, thanks for watching. You might want to check out my website or subscribe to my channel. And then here's a playlist with more good stuff and a video that continues the story. So check them out and share with your friends.